Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, thanks a lot. Today is 18th August. I welcome you all to this action learning project, a project that we are doing as a part of the GBC college course. Today's session is a Leave the Lesson. It's called LTL. And it's going to be the final session on the subject matter of the PEST analysis in relevance to our Yatra in general and more specifically to our project. This is primarily an exercise where we see opportunities and threats, and it's an outside-in view or the view from top, being very conscious and cognizant of our audience, the audience analysis that we have done. We look around, at a higher height, at a higher distance, the political, economical, and social and technological aspects, and how we can leverage them in the changing circumstances. What are the things that we see that are going to change in near future? And again, in the context of our devotee care of Damodar Desh, how it can be enhanced, because devotee care is our primary focus of the project. So we see in the PEST political, economical, social, and technological aspects from a perspective of how we can leverage what is available and what is changing, and are there any threats that we need to see which can constrain our operations here, which can probably sometimes can even lead to closing down of some services or some facilities, or even become so grave that it can become a threat to the very existence of the Yatra. So we already had 3 meetings on this subject matter, and all of you have spent several hours working on this assignment. I really thank you a lot. I've seen your contributions pouring in, and particularly last week's session, which was a prolonged session. We had a very good interaction in that. Today's session will be the final one in this aspect. So we can treat this as a summary session of what all has come up during the last 3 sessions as a summary. And I request you, each one of you, to present your work, and we'll once again have an interactive discussion. Post this session, I will collate all the points and summarize and share with you the final PEST analysis document. You can then send your comments and enhance it and fine tune it. And I'm targeting to submit the document by 26th August. So after I collate the document, I don't think we'll have many changes to do, but always welcome. So after this exercise, we'll move to Action Learning Project 6, which is organizational assessment, where we'll focus more on the strengths and weaknesses. There's a very nice, a big template that GBC College has given. We'll take that as a model to do that. And then the ALP 5 of this PEST analysis, ALP 6 of organizational assessment will lead us through to a document of a summary document called SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, of threat. And all of them have a connection to what our mission and vision is. Overall speaking, it's an enhancement of devotee care, systemization of processes, and taking the Damodar Desh to the next level of process maturity. So this session is likely to be finished within 1.5 hours. I'll try my best to pace it and in a way that we can finish it in 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 15 minutes is a buffer time. So I will start now. Today, Sumangal Prabhu is not able to join because he's stuck in the office. So, but he has already sent his inputs, and I had discussions with him on this. So I will walk through it. And Vinay Mukund Prabhu and Sugna Mataji also worked amidst their busy schedule. And Sugna Mataji is a bit of a ill health now and then. I really thank them. So they have attempted this in a very different perspective, from a cultural angle from cultural angle to ISKCON and its operation, and with the relevance to our Yatra as well. So since it's a bit of a different way of approach, so I will take the liberty to do that in the end of our discussions, so we can map to what all we have discussed to what they have said, because it's a very interesting format that they have chosen to take this thing. It's very good to have different types of views and approaches to the whole thing. So if it's okay with all of you, so we can start. So last time, Pundrik Prabhu had given us a very detailed analysis, and he has captured a lot of data with trends and things like that. And he's also talked about the market segment and how we can, multifold increase. What are the potential things to increase? So I would ask him to go through it. Each one of us will go through one by one. Do not worry if you have not formally submitted your submission in a document form. No problem. You can contribute online because you've already contributed in the previous sessions. Absolutely no issues that you can contribute it online, because this session is recorded and I will go through it after the session is over as well. So over to you, Pundrik Prabhu. If you want to share your screen and talk, or would just want to talk anyway, it's okay. Is Pundrik Prabhu there?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm here. Sorry, my connection's a bit spotty, but I can share my screen.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Just a second. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
We are seeing your screen.
All right, Prabhu. Do we want to cover the whole PEST, or should we just start with the audience analysis, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu. As you wish, you go with analysis, and then you can do whichever way you want.
Okay. Sure, Prabhu. I had some summary numbers on something, and anyways, I can show kind of what is all the data points that we have. But ideally, we've done a analysis just looking at what is the mix of Damodar Desh Yatra and what is a benchmark comparison we can use to it. Firstly, assuming we're approximately about 10,000 devotees. This 10,000 devotees, if I have to break up, it would come up like this. This would be the mix of it, where we have the largest segment. Half of it is what we call as friends of DDY, or friends of DDY, which is the people who are known to Bangladesh. They visit some programs once in a while. They've attended some programs. They're well-wishers for the event, but they're not engaged fully in the Bhakti Yoga process. They're not fully yet there, but they're friends. They attend some programs. Their families are there, but not yet fully regularly attending. And this is our potential reach, all those that we managed to reach. And this is a more reach who is a little more serious. That is not just a one-off reach, but reach who we're going to be meeting a couple of times, and they can be potentials to be further become devotees. So this is 50% of the yatra. Then we have Bal Utsav. Today the numbers are about 1,220 as I got the latest numbers. And I have a region breakdown for Bal Utsav and for the Bhakti Rikshas. I have assumed that a Bhakti Riksha, just on talking, it's about 2,000 or so across many areas. This could also include some Bal Utsav kids and all that in there, some of the parents and all of this. So this is 20%. Then we have initiated devotees who come up to, at this point, about 900 that we have on record. Jagan Prabhu, in case this numbers look too low, please let me know. Then I'll have to adjust it. It's just from what I was asking around and what we got.
Yeah, once I receive the Excel, I'll do a bit of a tweaking, Prabhu. Yeah, but it's
Yes,
overall, it's
Prabhu.
good. Just one
And
second,
then we have labor camp. Yeah, sorry.
So we have already done a bit of a audience analysis before, but as we move to the PEST, we are basically further refining and advancing the quality, enhancing the quality of the audience analysis before we go to PEST. And that's what Pundrik Prabhu is right now doing. Okay, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Yeah. So then we have about 1,000 people in the labor camp. And this is other than the initiated labor camp devotees. We'll have another 1,000 that we generally reach. And of course, we have the friends. So this is typically what our yatra looks like. If we look at our yatra based on the language that people speak or where they come from and which parts of India and all of this, we have 40% of our yatra, which is Hindi and rest of India. We have about 15% of the yatra, which is Telugu speaking. We have Tamil, which is about 10% of the yatra. We have Malayalam, which is about 8% of the yatra. Bengali, which is about 19%. This also factors in a lot of the labor camp and many other well-wishers as well outside. We have the Sindhi and Bhatia, which is about 600 devotees. We don't have anyone significant in the Arab right now. And we have about 200 of others, some Russian devotees, Filipino devotees, non-Indian devotees, basically. There are about 100 or 200 of them about, including all of the yoga community and all of that. I've clubbed them all in there. Typically, what I've done some research on is to look at our UAE population. How is the UAE population looking at Dubai population specifically? So out of 3.5 million population of Dubai, about 9.5% is really the Hindu population. So we have about 340,000 Hindus. This is the target audience that for sure we should be able to reach out to. Today, if we need to have a look, our real reach of this audience is actually we are today only reaching to about 3% of this target audience. We have barely any say in this group right now. In fact, some of our best is with the Hindi audiences, but there are some segments that are significantly underserved. So out of the Hindi audiences, we have about 9% of the Hindi population, which is typically considered to be Hindu. So that's about 70,000 people, but we have in our yatra about 4,000 people. And it's oversized here, of course, a lot to do with the labor camp participation as well. We have Telugu, 15% of Yatra is Telugu, while 9% of Dubai. So we have an over-representation, and it's a good representation again from the Telugu community. There's a strong, and there is still a significant size to grow. Tamil community is again in Dubai is as much. A big community, Sindhi community, though we have 600 devotees, about 70 to 75% of the Sindhi community, the Sindhi and Bhatia community is Hindu, which is again a big option to reach out to, which again is a big opportunity. So this analysis simply just says, while we're doing a great job and we're about 10,000 people and we're reaching out to so many, and then maybe 20,000 with all the Damodar Aartis and all of that, but still the real target that we can easily get to and reach out to everyone and at every level can be a lot larger. Even if we go double this or triple this number, it will be barely, our target should be at least 10% of the Hindu population to have reached in this place and to have got to at least that kind of a number. So this is kind of just a small analysis on what we have. I have some more audience analysis kept in our PEST. So we also have within the yatra, what is the mix of devotees? We saw this in the last conversation as well. 30% of blue collar. Blue collar means more physical labor and typically doing jobs like in the labor camps, carpentry, and service, all these kind of things. About 30% of the yatra. Then you have white collar, which is employed, salaried people. 30% of the yatra. Then you have 20% of the yatra, which is just students and a lot of children, school students, university students. And then you have housewives, which is 10% of the yatra. And then you have business owners and investors, which is again 5% of the yatra.
Hare
So this is some. Yeah.
One
Yes, Prabhu.
second. I just wanted to share, sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to set the context. Very good analysis. So this is where is the PEST coming to. In the audience analysis, which you formally did previously, we were within our, in the premise of the realm of our audience that we know, that we see. It's like standing at the door of the hall. We can see who are there, what is their profile, and we're also seeing who is coming near that building or a house or a temple. But the advantage of going up and seeing now what Punrik Prabhu has done, even in the audience analysis, yes, he himself flew up from the temple and he's seeing around Dubai. And even though as much as we think that we are very good, we are a big congregation, the looking at top down view, where he's looking at from 200 feet, 300 feet view. He has come to a very good conclusion and a very prescriptive conclusion that we have from a market size perspective, from a political or a social perspective, uh, we have a large captive audience or a target pool whom we can approach, spread the message of the Lord. So that's very inspirational to see these. When you see the statistics, sometimes the inspiration automatically comes. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. I just wanted to put that into the perspective. Now you can go to the economics. I think you're going to economical thing, right?
Yes, bro. So this is pretty much what we covered last time, but I've just put it a little more systematic. So basically, in our devotee community, so I've divided economical into two aspects. One is our internal, so within TDY, our Yatra devotee care, and then outside Yatra care, what is the uh, activities that can affect us. Within devotee, we have, of course, these segments of devotees. I would say 5 different segments of these devotees. And what we are doing now is looking at every segment. What does it need from the yatra? How can we help them? And what can they give to the yatra? And do an economical analysis like this of what is the dynamics within the yatra in such a way. So blue collar workers require support for good work conditions, paying off not unreasonable, unreasonable debts, and personal emergencies and saving money well. We need to support them with donations where necessary. In turn, we are able to get a lot of manpower and a lot of support from this group who are able to really be the physical force of what we have in the yatra. Our white collar, the Grihastha community mainly, they require less financial support, but they require more uh, support in terms of career guidance, savings plan, responsible financial education, emergency support if needed, and basically the economical aspect of Grihastha life. Support with donations in extreme cases, but also on the other end, this is a big community which can support the yatra. So maybe build a plan to collect SIP donations as per the capability of desire. If they desire so, how can we support them to periodically give donations or once in a while give donations on certain initiatives? How we should do that? That is something we can look at. Housewives are usually supported by husbands here, and they are about 10% of the yatra. They don't need significant economic support, but they can support the yatra in generating the entire, not the blue collar, but the white collar work for the yatra. They can be a huge force that we can use. And even if we see, I didn't put the statistics here because I didn't have it. Our entire teacher, so we have 83 teachers for Balotsav, which cater to 1,120 students. Out of those 83 teachers, 76 are ladies. And so that is the power that this housewife community can generate. And still it is pretty underutilized in DDY. Then we have students and children who are requiring career guidance and educational guidance. And we, for them, need to invest, since they're the future of the yatra. We need to invest energy and time into them. And finally, business owners. This is only 5% of the yatra, but as I said before in an informal discussion at Singapore, they contribute to almost 40 to 50% of all donations that come to the yatra. And they require business opportunity support and cohesion. That means we support and work with them. This community we should help grow further, attract more of the business community, give them more opportunities, conduct more events. We don't do any business focused discussions. A thought that we discussed last time is like the Jewish community, Marwadi community, Bori, Jain, Babs community. They have this concept. The Jewish community have a concept called Farginen, which basically means first within the community, second train the community, third still give an opportunity, fourth look outside. So it is an opportunity to see how they can build communities like this. Support entrepreneurship within DDY is one thing. And then another point that we added is devotees post leaving Dubai or having lost a job should be given support and taken care of. So if any way we can support them, guide them, even if they're heading back. One thing we had to do is check with ISKCON law on encouraging business in a yatra, and the guidelines that is needed to do so. So this is economics within the yatra. Outside the yatra, we have few factors that we need to be worried about or careful about. Historically known, we are known for supporting a lot of external projects, Mayapur, Vrindavan, India, temples all around the world. There is a risk with this when we start moving to become more formal organizations where we'll have to report collections, which is very controlled and restricted outside the UAE. So first, our collections itself is very, very controlled. For what reasons? And if we are giving, then we have to consider options of how we can collect donations, under what reasons we're collecting it, and then how to spread these collections outside of UAE and how to give to other organizations. That is also very much controlled here. So this whole economic and reporting aspect of things is a very sensitive area as we start becoming a more formal organization. And finally, UAE is doing well right now. There is a risk of economic downturn, which could affect collections as well as devotees in the yatra. This is a wider element to be careful about. That's what I have for economical that I've put through. And finally, technology. We divided it into a few areas. The first was security concerns. We have a challenge on security considering the sensitivity of the
Hare
region.
Krishna, Pundrik Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Just hold on. We can ask anyone if they have any comments on the higher degree of audience analysis and also on what the economical things that Pundrik Prabhu has shared. Quick comments from others. One thing, Prabhu, excellent work, very good analysis. So the PEST analysis primarily looks, when we look at the data, we will ultimately have to cut the pie from an opportunity and threats angle. So once you submit the document, then I will slice the very nice information that you have given in those cuts of opportunities and threats. Like in the end of economical thing that you mentioned, a kind of a threat that exists, even though we get a good donation, but we need to be careful. So in that perspective, I will modify your input. But thanks a lot. I don't know, just because a quick comment from any devotees there before we go to the technology stream.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very excellent analysis. He went down very deep onto the subject. Really amazing. From this, I can make out that we have a lot of opportunities for reaching out to those who are non-ISKCON. It means most of the ISKCON members are now coming and attending to the Sunday programs. Now I feel that those regular or who are seniors go out and do these outreach programs rather than coming to our Sunday program. Very well.
Any other comments? Quick comments, brief.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this the perspective as you mentioned just now, from the overall perspective, yes, legal side has to be looked into it because of the regions. This region, we have to look from that perspective also when we do the audience analysis. If it is restricted to DDY.
Yes, Prabhu. I agree. We agree that point. Thanks for bringing that. And any other any other devotees want to tell before I give my comment?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, in PEST, when you look at the economics, there, as I understand that economics, how the economics is influencing or affecting our market share from a company perspective. I'm talking about that their customer share, how the economics is going to affect, isn't it?
Yeah, he has done that, right, in the blue collar support and yeah. So he has basically covered that. That's why I will model this into opportunities and threats. That's a good point. Excellent input. So Prabhu, one more thing, one good conclusion is that what Rasikananda Prabhu has told, that there's a bigger audience that we have to reach, the point number one. And from a project perspective, for an opportunity, I think we also have to have some kind of a program to see this, how do we address this underrepresented groups? For example, Malayalam group, we need to further do an analysis of why there's a less of the Malayalam participation. Do they have other places to go, or is it because they have bigger families here? They get their time gets spent in the family functions more than the devotional or any other things. But it's a good data point that you have highlighted in red. We need to see what are those underrepresented things. And in the devotee care program, after when we come into the operation stage, this we can pick it up from this analysis. Thanks a lot, Prabhu. I think you can
Yes,
now go
Prabhu.
to the aspect. Yeah.
There were just two more questions that I wanted to answer in the audience, which I'm just getting some data on. Is what is the growth of DDY in last 20 years? And what is the bottleneck in this growth to grow further? And actually, the bottleneck question, this one, I'm still getting the data together. For example, for Balutsav, we have 83 teachers or 83 classes happening. And Bhakti Viksha, we have about right now, as far as I understand, about 80 or 90 again classes happening around the bar, a little more than that. The biggest bottleneck that I'm seeing so far, I'm just trying to put some numbers around it, is a lack of trained teachers and lack of new teachers and new classes, especially in regions like Bardubai, Karama, which is very, very underrepresented. And we don't have enough. This is the biggest bottleneck of our growth today. Before we had a lot and then we maxed out. So today the ratio of teachers to students is already at about 18 or 19 or 20 students a teacher, which is normal. But unless we grow the number of teachers, it will be very hard to grow the number of students. So the same thing for Bhakti Viksha. So I was just trying to put some numbers around these 2 points. We'll add value.
Yeah, it had a very good data value from a social point of view or economical point of view. Very good. Thanks, Prabhu. So now you can move to the technology.
Yes, bro. In technology, we discussed last time that there is a security concerns. The security is firstly our conversations, events, broadcast, secure and private. We need to have control on who is sharing and what is being shared with the public, and being very careful about our public events and whose hands it's going into and knowing who's coming. Another area is the lack of awareness on UE privacy law. We need to first raise awareness within the core devotee community, core more to say, and inform them about the risks and what is the here. And then we need to inform them of the key do's and don'ts when they are also doing bhakti vikshas or any preaching. We need to create a system for reporting any concerns. If there is unknown or suspicious people, if there is any hack, or if there's any incorrect vulgar information being shared, who would be the key point of contact to reach and how should it be escalated? That is also something we need to establish. Then we need to have a devotee database, collect information about devotees, collects interest, points of contacts, and use that information to support them and understand how we can grow the community. This is a very key aspect. Another thing is controlled marketing. Identify areas where we can do some marketing. So yoga or meditation or some retreats or something which takes care of these concerns, but some areas that we can actually market and reach out to new audiences through this. And finally, we need to have an online education setup since hybrid is a new way of learning. This includes Bal Utsav, Bhakti Viksha, and Bhakti Shastri to having an online component. Gamification of such education, as Prabhu was saying last time. We need to reach out to other ISKCON learning resources such as the IIT and all, again, which we were mentioning last time. And then our Gita courses was a big success. This needs to be continued systematically, and similar preaching courses. With Sanskrit learning, such kind of courses maybe we can build for wider audiences, and then also music training. Similar to the Mridanga, we can have harmonium, singing, and have a full online component for this. There could be higher communication costs for the lower segments to use. Typically, this is a concern that could be there. And maybe something that could come up a little later is a devotee social circle online, where either a group or something where there's a chanting, temple sharing of progress, encouraging and sharing initiative success with the audience can be done. So this is a technological evaluation of the yatra.
Thanks a lot, Prabhu. Excellent compilation. So again, in the PEST analysis, we see more of opportunities and threats. Technology point of view, good coverage. Few things that we need to remember as a part of this project and as part of this exercise. Technology is a very important component of the PEST analysis and also the way we can expand our yatra. So because it can it can go beyond the physical limitations. And when COVID came, that was a big learning for us, but it was a learning that was forced on us on a firefighting level. Having learned those lessons when COVID suddenly came, we should also be prepared to see if that kind of a situation can come anytime also, right? Some else problem may come. This is a material world. So we need to remember those important lessons on what went wrong and what went right in the COVID adoption, COVID-related adoption kind of a thing, and try to work out PEST analysis as a part of the thing. We'll put conclusive statements on where we have learned from COVID and how we need to be prepared. That means that we have to further start training people who are not still comfortable with the managing the online thing in terms of getting the facilities and how we can do that, or how we can have a co-hybrid things. Because if you have to go online, maybe fight and devotees can group in one home and they try to attend the class, and what kind of facilities they need to have in terms of a bigger screens or whatever. So I will have put some section on that because that's an important lesson that we learned, and we can put that in the PEST thing on how we do that. And the also lack of awareness of UAE privacy law, we did discuss in detail last time. I just want, since it's a concluding session, I just wanted to highlight that this threat had already manifested in few times. We have already faced, and those things were discussed in detail last time. So this is also one of the things that we need to remember, that as a part of this PEST analysis, since we are now looking at from the top to down, this is an area there where we need to be putting our focus on. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thanks a lot. So can I ask Rasikananda Prabhu? Again, as I told in the beginning, we'll go to Vinay Mukund Prabhu and Sugna Mataji's thing in the end, because they have a very different way of articulating the whole thing. So it'll be very interesting to see how they have done a very prescriptive cultural angle, which is a part of the social angle or social segment of the PEST analysis. Yeah, Rasikananda Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. My study is about political subject. So I have done some analysis in this under the guidance of Jagan Prabhu. So even though when it comes to political activity, immediately we think there is a threat, but there are good opportunities as well, challenges and opportunities. So with my little study, I could make out some points I want to share here. Basically here we have freedom of worship. It means tolerance by the government. So how we are utilizing this and how we can utilize this further is we can expand these programs into hybrid preaching or hybrid programs, because in hybrid programs there is no regulation by law. We can say that the programs are happening, say it can happen from India or anywhere also. We can have recorded programs or some, as Prabhu was telling sometime before, five people can join as a group and the programs can be conducted. We can have like structured programs or unstructured programs also. So with this we can utilize this as an opportunity for reaching out to the new devotees. And there is a threat also, like overstretching of this may result in government inspections or penalties, or these things will be there. So we have to be careful on that. Then the Prime Minister of India's visit some time back to this country had had bonded very good relations between India and this country. Because of that, the tolerance level has increased and the government has allowed more temples. In Dubai, one new temple has come, in Abu Dhabi also another new temple is coming up. So here, the fear among the devotees also is reduced now, and they are slowly coming up for participating in the spiritual programs. This is a great opportunity for us to introduce small Bhagavad Gita classes in the new devotees, like reach out programs, along with the kirtans or other things, and we can expand. The threat is, again, it depends on the government policy, as it happened earlier. Sometimes suddenly the government changes the law and they make it very strict. So we have to be very careful on these things. We cannot go like blindfolded. We have to be very careful on this. Then, like designated place of worship, recently worship district in Dubai was introduced by the government, where our Jabal Ali temple and Gurudwara has come up, and which has very wonderful response. There are, on the festival times, per day 20,000 devotees are visiting. On the normal days, 3 to 4,000 devotees are visiting. On the weekends, 10,000 devotees are visiting. Therefore, it is a great place for preaching. So we can take advantage of this. As considering the statistics given by Pundarik Prabhu, we have very lot of huge numbers to reach out. So we can take out the opportunities from temples, even at Gurudwara, to do our preaching exercise. Again, it should be an inclusive program, in the sense sometimes we have to participate in other cult as well, because we have, like in Hinduism, we have like Shiva, Vaishnava, and also Durga Devi is there, Subramanya Swami is there, Ayyappa is there. We have so many gods and so many programs are happening. So we should be able to participate in all those things, and gradually we can introduce that, okay, everything is fine, but ultimately the source is from Krishna. So this has to be introduced so that we will not have a conflict among the devotees. Hare Krishna. Then licensing activity was introduced by the Community Development Authority some years back. Through them only, even now we are getting event management permissions, and we are doing the programs. So some of the organizations or spiritual organizations have taken license here, such as Isha Yoga, Art of Living, DYC UAE, means Datta Yoga Center UAE, etc. So some of them have already registered here with their offices, and they are conducting programs in the name or in the guise of yoga programs. So they are doing it successfully. So we can also try in this way and register it as a kind of yoga. Then we can expand it. In this, our advantage will be like the funds what we collect now, we are managing in an unofficial way. So once we do a registration, we can do in an official way. Only thing is, we may have to pay 5% VAT to the government. And the disadvantage or the point is, it involves some cost of licensing, office rent, staff salaries, etc. And if there is a sudden change in government regulations, then we may have to close down or find an alternative method. This is a challenge for us. Then programs are happening in Indian Association Hall or convention centers where there is no restriction. Government regulations would not apply there. So we can utilize this as an outreach program to increase the number of programs, so that we can reach to more number of devotees. Here again, conflict with the other cult may result in complaints to authorities, and these issues are usually, it results in adverse consequences. Then also event management license. We can do programs through event management licensing activity. Now we are doing the same thing, but we can expand or increase the number of places, so that more Vaishnava cultural programs or Vaishnava festivals programs can be conducted in several places. Now as DDY, we are doing at only one place. This we can expand to many places. At the same time, dividing the senior devotees or key number of people into other places and different teams, and conduct these programs in various places, so that we can expand or reach out to more people. The threat is spiritual activities as such is not allowed legally here. So we should not be over enthusiastic to do programs in a very broader way, which attracts the CID or government authorities, so that it may result in penalties, punishments, etc. And just now from the earlier Pundrik Prabhu's presentation, I just got a thought that moral education can be introduced in school. This is a very good opportunity. Now, only Islamic moral education uh, is given in the schools. When it comes to moral education for other religions, they are free, they are not doing anything. So we have to take up this to the KHD or government authorities to introduce spiritual studies for non-Muslims as well, so that we can introduce Bhagavad Gita classes, just like as we are doing Balotsav, we can do this also, and this will be very good once if it becomes, if we can do it successfully, it will be a great opportunity to reach out to more people and convert many into Krishna conscious devotees. One challenge here is also, as usual, we are like major six sectors like Shaivas, Vaishnavas, Ganapatyas, Durga, Subramanya, Surya. So these many types of devotees are there. So some may make an objection towards introducing Bhagavad Gita alone. So this has to be carefully taken care. And on last but not the least, Kirtan program is a very successful program in our ISKCON. So there is no restriction for Kirtan program, because Kirtan Dubai or Kirtan Yoga like this, it can happen anywhere without any restriction from government authorities. Therefore, this Kirtan, with a strong Kirtan team we have in DDY, we can conduct more Kirtan programs at halls, some houses, wedding programs, or anywhere, and propagate our Krishna consciousness. Now again, the threat is, if you overboard, means do more like we go out and create some nuisance and these kind of things, there is a risk. So they should be in a regulated manner. So that's all, Prabhu. These are all the major points I could note out. You can add some program points also, Prabhu. Any of the members, and your comments as well.
Yeah,
please.
any comments from members before I add few points? Devotees? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Devotees, any comments? Okay, so I have this. I think what Rasikanand Prabhu presented is a brief version. I have gone through his detailed version. One important point that is there in the detailed version is that when we see that, sometimes we say the government restrictions, that's a fine, but actually there are restrictions, but that restrictions apply to all religions, even including Islam. One point that he made a very good point is that even they cannot do a big outdoor programs. They cannot do protests. They cannot do things. So that law applies to everybody. So that restriction is not discriminatory. That restriction is for the welfare and the unity and the harmony of all the people. That's one thing. So so we need to see that positive angle. And also, while we talk about restrictions, I think from a political angle, if you see, government has given a lot of freedom also within that restricted space for us to maneuver and do what we want to do for the welfare of the communities. So I think that aspect is very interesting. Opportunities there. Of course, there's a bit of a threat if you overdo things. And we have read the recently we completed a course on ISKCON law. Also, that gave us a very good perspective on what kind of a work that has happened in ISKCON from a law and management and governance and control point of view. So one thing that comes stand very clear and loud and clear is wherever the center is, whichever country may be, the local law is the most predominant law than any other that we need to understand. And also we need to very respectfully and humbly accept it and follow it. And we should be very demonstrable, good, socially responsible citizens. So that's how we can outside in a very subtle manner, we can preach to the local authorities or local agencies about our character and behavior while respecting the law. So I think that's a very important point, Prabhu. So if anyone else wants to comment, they're willing to comment. I'll just put one point. It is not directly coming in political angle, Prabhu, but you and I wanted this thread to be picked up by you and Murli, Prabhu, because recently, from an economic point of view, there is one change that India and UAE are now started trading in rupees instead of dollars. So what does it mean to an economy here? And what does it mean to the expat here? And in what way that will percolate to the well-being and economic development of the expat here is what I think we need to do. It's because of very recent development. We may not have much idea, but I think since you both are chartered accountants and in the finance angle, you may be able to put a perspective. If you can send me a brief note, 1 or 2 paragraphs on that, I think we can include in the PEST analysis. It will give a very good value, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I'll now open to all any other devotees before I jump into Sumangal Prabhu's thing.
Just a very quick one, Prabhuji. It was a very nice point which highlighted about it. It is applicable to all religions to have such restrictions. But coming from a cultural background of what we are into, which is the major community here for ISKCON, which is coming from the Indian background or Bangladeshi background or Nepali background, from those background, there it is more over enthusiasm and which can really spurt up without any restriction. So that is one thing which has to be calmed down, knowing the place. That's what I felt. Where it is very difficult to restrict to that manner when it comes to the emotions.
Very, very good point, Prabhu. Excellent point. I have seen, I've seen and I got impacted by that when we were in Doha. But in the end, if we have time, I will tell how we had faced and what kind of consequences that we have to face and what are the big lessons that we have learned. Thanks a lot. If we have time, I'll definitely share that, Prabhu. So now, Sumangal Prabhu is stuck up in the office. But anyway, he has discussed with me in detail. So he had also done a very detailed study. So I'll share his Excel. I hope you're able to see. So what he has done is, his topic is social, predominantly social, but social sometimes gets into an economy sphere also. So what he has done is he has taken a broad parameter and then he has put the effect of that parameter and then what is the positive, that is, you can say opportunity, and what is the negative, what could be a threat to us. And typically the statistics parts, we have to just fill in a bit more. But otherwise, he has done his thing, and he has to also add the links. But broadly, what he's talked about is from a social perspective and an economic perspective. Overall, we see UAE as a booming economy. Absolutely no doubt. All the trends that we have also do that. Point to that. So in the sub parameters are what is considered from a social angle is there are going to be new education institutes that are coming up. So there are a lot of expats and their children will study more and more, and probably second and third generations of that will stay here. So that's a good effect, good impact on the communities here. Particularly the recent announcement of IIT coming to Abu Dhabi is a big announcement from an education sector. And the Manipal Institute and other institutes that are there also which are very growing, and we see people from India or other places coming to read in Dubai. That is unheard of 10 to 15 years back. So that's a very interesting thing. And then new projects, Dubai is also booming, and so many projects in the material front are coming. What it means is there is more people working, professional people will come, and also then that also will support the thing. And in those people, definitely there will be some percentage of people who are already connected to ISKCON in other countries. They come, and that is a good thing that we need to leverage and use them. And tourism is also increasing day by day. And there's another place where we can also influence. Of course, there is a cost of living has shot up. There's a bit of a negative trend there. While some people are buying apartments and buying villas, economically well-placed people. So that is helping them because the cost of living and cost of earning potential also has increased. But in general, there's a concern from an economic point of view and a social point of view that we may lose some people, in the sense that people may want to stay as bachelors and send their families back. So in that way, there could be a little impact on the little impact on the profile and the flavor of the yatra when more and more people and the children and mothers go. And amortization is also there in the many companies. We see big companies like our company, probably in Emirates and EDNOC and banks. There is a very aggressive drive on amortization. For example, in our company, in my grade of work, almost about 60 to 70%, they look for amortization thing. So when they leave, suppose when I retire, my job will be automatically be amortized like that. So that also means there could be less and less jobs or white collar jobs, at least at a senior levels in the big organizations. That is going to come. And how will it impact? We have to see from an opportunity and a threat angle. And gender inequality is also there from a social angle, because a place where many bachelors stay. So we need to see how do we care for those people who are living alone, because emotionally and otherwise also physically, physiologically, they are always be under stress. May not directly see, but it's just undergoing stress, right? So in a devotee care angle, we also need to cut that segment. Like Pundrik Prabhu has identified, a Malayali segment is underrepresented. We have to cut across the data that he has already shared to see this segment, and how do we do a special care and think from them? How do we create a familial atmosphere, a familial programs to them? More importantly, focusing on them so that they can also feel and enjoy their family environment, and then that helps them to compensate for the missing of what they are facing through, and more freedom for the expatriates. We are seeing it may be possible to do programs more openly and outdoor programs in future. Right now, we don't see any threat as long as we take proper permissions. More temples are coming. Socially, of course, the BAPS temple, which is coming in February, March 2024, is going to be a big game changer. It will give, in a way, it's kind of a competition for us in a way, but it also throws up a good opportunity. I'm sure we'll also have some opportunities to do programs there, because they're also looking at a very broad vision there. So that also might help, may not directly to the DDY, but definitely for Avatar Desh, that's going to be an impact there. And of course, health consciousness, people become more health aware, more health consciousness. In this, that also can impact a social aspect of it. They may not like to join in big congregations, so they will take too much precautions, and that sometimes over precautions, or sometimes even less precautions. Both ways we have to balance, and also we need to cater to that segment of people who are vulnerable to these kind of things. How do we cut our pie chart and see their comfort and relaxing thing? So it's a good opportunity and also a kind of a threat for us, because we need to balance that. Of course, the social media presence is there, lifestyle and trends. We can use technology like Pundrik Prabhu has already covered. So that is one. Social media can be utilized as a platform to increase our increase our spread. There's a big opportunity. But we also see that social media and use of technological devices are also causing some issues with the youth, and not only youth, young people, to children to youth also. It is impacting, it's causing issue to the parents. So we can use it as an opportunity in a way that we can clearly demonstrate if children are given, youth are given an opportunities to do some outdoor activities. going to the satsang, learning music, learning art, learning all those things that are amply available in the ecosystem of ISKCON DDY here, people will have less time to misuse the social media. They can better utilize the social media. So very social is very important consideration, because in the Bhakti Habitat course that we have done, there was one detailed question that we need to answer. How do we wean away youth, or it's a case study, scenario-based case study, where we had to answer what are the steps that we as Yatra do to deal with this seemingly increasing problem of addiction, people's addiction to devices, youth, children, and even elders also. So it was pretty, I had to do a bit of introspection to provide the answer, and that also helped me to think in a different way. So very good analysis. So broad parameters that affect, positive effect, negative effect, statistics. Nicely compiled, Sumangal Prabhu. Thanks a lot for your work. I just want to leave audience if they want to do any comments on his way of articulating the whole thing. Anybody? Yes, no? If you can say, then I can move to the next thing.
Yes, Prabhu, very good analysis, Prabhu.
Yeah. So now we will go to the topic of how Suguna Mataji and Vinay Mukund Prabhu articulated. Just give me 1 minute before I open the document. As I told earlier, they have done it in a very different way from a cultural relevance point of view. So I'll just share my screen. Again, I'm talking on behalf of Suguna Mataji. Vinay Mukund Prabhu has not yet reached office, home, I believe. So I will take their thing, and I will 1 second, Prabhu. Sorry. No, not this. Just hold on. I know where this is going in. Sorry about that. Yeah. Opening. It's taking time. I don't know why. Okay. Sometimes when I stop share, it comes fast. Yeah. Right. So what they've done is, okay, you're able to see the screen, right? So I will map what they've done with from a PEST angle. So they've seen they've seen the whole social aspect from a cultural relevance. So social and cultural thing are very interlinked thing, right? So how that social thing has to be analyzed from ISKCON's teachings and practices. So they've taken nice subheadings, local values and beliefs. So this this aspect is covered. So we need to be very conscious about the different culturals and distinct values that exist in Dubai. Politically, socially, economically, this aspect has to be considered, particularly considering that Dubai or UAE, for example, a 10 million population of people, and where 120 plus nationalities live, which is very unique in the world. From that way, we should also, while we promote our culture, the local values, beliefs, and the cultural things has to be a factor in our PEST analysis. How do we leverage that openness of the country to host so many people? And at the same time, how can we give our culture local values and benefits within ISKCON, and to take it abroad, take it outside of that? So different cultures have distinct values, beliefs, and practices. ISKCON as an organization with its own teachings and practice need to consider how well these align. So not only within the outside cultures, like Rachikananda Prabhu touched this point, within our own cultural beliefs of Sanatana Dharma, there are so many different segments, right? So we need to be conscious of that, leverage the benefits. Same way, once we have that culture of having a belief in the local system, we automatically develop the respect for other traditions. So Srimad Bhagavatam also in the 11th canto clearly tells us, right, we should never blaspheme any form of faith, and we should respect others, follow our thing. So that is a very crucial thing when we consider the social angle of it. Culturally, within our organization also, we should constantly demonstrate that we live these values. We live with a belief, we respect the other things. We really believe that other cultures are also as equally important as our culture. And how do we make use of them to move forward? And language and communication is also a very important thing for social cultural relevance with the wide expat population in DDY. And this is a very good point that touches us some of the things that Pundrik Prabhu has shown us, right? Malayali people are more in UAE. So Malayalam definitely is a most, I think, most spoken Indian language in Gulf. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But still they're underrepresented. So where do we cut our communication strategies, where we can improve, and how do we do that is another thing. And we also, there's absolute need, because we now have a reasonable good demographic analysis thanks to Pundrik Prabhu's analysis. Going forward, making use of this PEST thing, we need to see how we can increase the local language preaching and what are the nuances to make ISKCON teachings more accessible. So that's an interesting thing, and very interesting cut. If you see the biggest book distributors and the most successful and most enthusiastic, most dedicated book distributor of Damodar Desh Yatra, absolutely no doubt, Naikatma Prabhu, Vanamali Prabhu, Ratnabhushan Prabhu, all Malayalis. They're very much into Malayali preaching, but it's interesting that in the ISKCON, they're underrepresented. So it's a very interesting dimension that we see from a social angle. And then we need to see a root cause analysis on why this happens. So that's a point that we need to understand. And yeah, this is a thing that we need to also remember, considering that Onam is coming at the end of this month. This time we need to see Onam in a very different perspective, considering this audience analysis, considering the thing that we have come out, understood from a PEST analysis. I'm sure I would request Pundrik Prabhu also to put this point into Srivala Prabhu's thinking methodology on how we can slightly differently celebrate Onam this time in this angle. Can we have one program for in-house devotees and a broader outreach program for Onam, making leveraging, and from the analysis that we are coming. So that's a very interesting thing that comes into this cut. And community integration is very important. Being actively involved in local communities and participating in community events. Again, as a responsible social citizen. In one of our essays also that I did mention that we should also participate in like blood donation event, which we used to do that before. Now we stopped. But any other charity related things, charity runs, nothing wrong in participating and knowing what they do and how we can contribute to the well-being is one thing. And customized outreach, I think Pundrik Prabhu also has covered a lot on this, on how do we address this. Educational initiatives, again, offering programs within the sphere of Academy of Vedic Sciences, and relaunching the Bhagavad Gita core. I think this is a topic that is very dear to Radha Madhav Mataji, and I think it's being taken as a separate. One of the ALP projects in Damodar Desh of this GBC college program is also Shastric studies. This is led by Jai Govind Prabhu himself. And adoption without compromise, while cultural relevance is important, it's also important to strike a balance between adopting a local culture and maintain the core principles of it. Yeah, this is always a challenge for us. How do you crisscross? How do you avoid these crisscross frictions? So yeah. So overall, I think they have concluded the goal of embracing cultural relevance is to establish a meaningful and respectful connection with local communities in which ISKCON operates. This is extremely very, very important. And I think if I can take the liberty to comment, some other organizations have done a bit some steps, because of course they're slightly their approach to philosophy is a bit different. That gives them an opportunity to do that, but other organizations have gone 1 or 2 steps ahead in this journey, and that's why they could operate. They're getting the licenses and they're operating under the official licenses than we, because I know that we have some constraints in this manner because our alliance and our allegiance to the core principles of ISKCON are strong, and it's important to keep that up without compromise. But somewhere we need to strike a balance on where we do it. So very good analysis in a very different perspective. And I thank them, and I particularly thank Subhana Mataji because she's not that keeping well. We should all pray for her, but still she has done this good effort to contribute. So I'll leave the floor open now to Murli Prabhu and Bandhu Baldev Prabhu, if they want to, and Radha Madhav Mataji to quickly come up and share something, particularly to Bandhu Baldev Prabhu and Radha Madhav Mataji, and then later and Murli Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
If you reach hotel and you're in a safe zone, yes, you can do that.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So yeah, it's very nice, Prabhu. I think it's in a completely different perspective than we have thought, and even the analysis by Pundarik Prabhu, Rasikananda Prabhu, and Sumangal Prabhu was also very nice, with valid points coming up with different dimensions. So it's very nice, Prabhu. Only one thing I wanted to add is that what I've noticed from devotees cutting across all regions or demographics is that they want a unified presence with a local unified front with a local presence, something we call it as glocal or whatever it is. So that is one thing which everybody is expecting. I don't know where it will fit, but this is something which I have noticed, that they can move across from one place to another without any problems, and they can plug and play from wherever they go. This is something which if we cater to that need, I believe, in my assessment, there will be a substantial jump in people joining us. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, geolocation, mobility. Yeah, a very good angle, Prabhu. Since now we are seeing from a higher angle, now we are also not only seeing what audience are there and who is coming. It's very interesting when we go up, we are also seeing who are the audience we are going out and what are their needs. Yeah, this is a very good point. And myself and Rasikananda Prabhu faced this issue several times, and Rasikananda Prabhu is doing some efforts. One example I give is some devotees go from Damodaresh to even just adjacent Srivas Angan or Shamadesh, and they're very regular devotees here, and they want to join the program, and immediately after going there, some opportunity comes, they want to take shelter. And there the Yatra Bhakti Riksha leader will ask, where are you from? He says, I'm Damodar Desh. But where is your credential? How do I know what's your standing? And all those questions will come. They're asking. I mean, it's right for them to ask because they want to do a quality check. And this devotee doesn't have anything. These devotees do not have much to show, and so it takes a lot of time for them to get merged into their stream of things. And again, the flavor, the way the programs are conducted, the nature of transactions, even if they're very neighboring yatras, we see that there are a lot of differences, right? For example, the way Shamadesh devotees mingle and the way we mingle and where they interact is very different. Because I have an opportunity to conduct some outreach programs in Shamadesh, particularly for the Telugu community people. I see a huge difference in the way they interact, the way they do it. I mean, nothing right or wrong, but yeah, that's mobility is very important. And at the same time, when devotees come from out also to in, they have practical difficulties that we need to take care of. Because I know some devotees have come from Qatar the last 2-3 years. They're not able to merge into mainstream because we are so big and the sevas are so predetermined with group of people. They cannot break into that seva groups to take up seva. So they just remain a very silent spectators, and still they tend to be comfortable to attend Qatar programs online because they don't feel a part of it. So that devotee segment also we need to see, because there may be some people who have come out They are attending, but there's people who are not coming and attending because of the very fact that they feel that they're isolated. They don't know many people. And we only talk to the people whom we know very well, even when we come to Sunday Feast program, right? So that aspect is there. Some people have the initiative to come forward and to get connected, but not all of that. So very good point, Prabhu, to be considered in our audience analysis, further in our devotee care. One more segment, it may be not a big segment, but a segment that need to be considered. Thanks a lot. And Radha Mada Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Sorry, I am not able to contribute much because I got busy over the last week. But when I'm hearing is pretty interesting, and also to see all the analysis and the number, again, as everybody has shared, it is a huge number we still have. We can go reach out to them. And also, as you told, the transition period is so much essential because we are dealing with the devotee care. It plays a huge role in devotees' life when we transit from one yatra to the other or from one place to other. We need to give a lot of support over there. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. And Murli Prabhu, final words. And then from, if Suruna Mataji can speak a bit, at least 1 minute before she gets cough, she's okay. It's okay. Otherwise, we can go ahead. Next, Murli Prabhu, final comments, and then Pundrik Prabhu, if you're online, then we can conclude.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It was very nice to have different views from a very broad perspective. Since the hybrid systems is going on, there can be one thing which just now mentioned. The borders, crossing the borders can be a difficult one. Since it's an online event, some gets into online, but they are reluctant to get connected to any of the physical side because they are more comfortable in sitting at home and doing it. So that is one of the lethargy which has been observed in that case. So how to address that, which we have to look at from a broader perspective. And second thing, Srila Prabhupada has very beautifully mentioned one about artificial intelligence with the conversation on Dr. Singh. It is there in krishna.com, which has a beautiful highlight about the technology perspective. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. I'll also, when in the conclusive final collated document, you'll also see. I'll add something very nice point that we have learned recently from Brahmatirtha Prabhu, who's he's the one who was instrumental in getting that perfect question, perfect answers in the early 70s, between 60s, 70s, I think. He had an opportunity to meet Srila Prabhupada and ask him so many questions. And he himself is a scientist. He's a very senior position in the Bhakti Vedanta Institute now. So he has given us some very nice data points on how Srila Prabhupada thought about technology, science, and how we should preach. So that angle also I will add in the technology point of view. And also there are some dimensions in the social aspect also, how Srila Prabhupada encouraged the use of technology, use of science particularly, to reach out to the people. So initially there were 5 PhDs in BI. And now I was very surprised to know that there are 50 PhDs, 50 PhD scientists who are there in our ISKCON BI. Of course, their predominance now is more of not exactly on technology, but more on science, physical science, material science, to prove to the world using this science that the spiritual energy and material, the differences of material energy and spiritual energy, and so on and so forth. Because science says something and we are saying something, right? And he has given some very nice analogies using the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and how some devotees who are reading Bhagavatam stop reading Bhagavatam after 5th canto, and how they've stopped even coming to ISKCON. Why? Because what they heard from some preachers or enthusiastic preachers And because they had the scientific background and a very complex brain. So it's a very interesting. So anyway, thanks a lot for all this. Just slightly I went out of the topic, but I will also include that in the technology aspect in the final book. That's what I wanted to tell. So very, very big thanks to all of you for your kind
Hare
attention and time. And yes, Prabhu, Pundik Prabhu, you can go.
Prabhu, I just had one maybe thought as Muralidhar Bro was giving that quote. Actually, one thing is, while reading a lot of the ISKCON manuals and what all has been done, one of the big things is Prabhupada always thought for the movement 10,000 years ahead. And actually, why I was also thinking a little more big picture is to think of Prabhupada is thinking 10,000. And he would always say, even in his instructions on Mayapur, on his instructions on Puri, on his instructions on ISKCON as a whole, he would always say, think big. That was his thing. You're thinking too small, think big. And so while we think very nice and we do innovative things, maybe sometimes thinking big like this and looking at bigger opportunities is a big way to move forward. Because if 10,000 years this Krishna consciousness is going to progress so successfully, that means it's going to become a major world religion by some point very, very soon. So maybe we just need to be instrumental and try to give it some structure so that it can become good in a very structured way. So hopefully I think this study has been fantastic, Prabhu, to give a more structured approach. Hopefully we can bring that structure into Damodar Desh and really apply the best of this and maybe hopefully fulfill Srila Prabhupada's vision to whatever way possible.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Big thanks. Yes, a big thing. What Srila Prabhupada thought. So Srila Prabhupada was doing PEST analysis from the day one, and he was doing from a different angle and different level, which we can't even think of. Yeah, finally, Suguna Mataji, if you want to say a few words before your throat gives up, if you can.
Hare Krishna, tender pranams to all. Yes, I totally agree with the Pundrik Prabhu because he says that Prabhupada's vision, but even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Nagara Gramete Hoy. So he had the dream, and we, as taking a chart, we are just seeing, as you said, a drawn sight, but Prabhu, it should not be on the paper. We have to take it further. We have to work on it. It's just not a white collar degree that we take unless and until we try to implement it. So implementation is also equally important. As we read the Shastras, we say we did discovery, and then we understand, and then comes, application. So with that note, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Excellent, Mataji. So big thanks to all the devotees. This is a final meeting on PEST. And as I told, next thing is on the organization analysis that comes, where we will see, here we have seen opportunities and threats, and there we see strengths and weaknesses. But with the analysis, with the data that we compile, the next study should be much faster, but it has a big template to fill with a lot of analysis, further analysis to be done. But I think we are going good. We're slightly behind the schedule, mainly because of me. I was also stuck up with my office commitments, but very, very, very big thanks to all of you for fantastic participation. We're learning so much in these sessions. So I wish all of you good luck and have a nice weekend. And we will not be having this level of discussions. We will take a break. I will have one small session on the Teach to Learn for the ALP 6 on the organization analysis. That will be about 45 minutes. That we'll see how we can schedule before Janmashtami. But the actual intense work of that assignment we'll do slightly later in September, so that you can concentrate on your Janmashtami services. And I also have to do certain essays for the other courses. So big thanks. And also I'll take this opportunity to wish Bandhu Baldev Prabhu a very safe, secure changeover to the new place of his job. And also he'll have an opportunity to radiate the spirit of Damodar Desh there and contribute for the benefit of the devotees there in a very careful, controlled manner. And also, we also have to give him an assurance that we'll also take care of his family here. To the extent possible, we'll try to be in touch with them, trying to at least provide some emotional and moral support to them whenever it's needed, particularly for those people, those of us who are living very close to him in a physical proximity, like myself, Pundrik Prabhu, myself and Sumangal Prabhu and Rasikanand Prabhu, Sugna Gunda Mataji. We all have that responsibility together collectively to take care of Pavitra, Hari and Mataji. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Take care. Have a good night. Thanks a lot. I'm stopping recording and then I'll eventually exit from the meeting. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.